Just a quick introduction. If you haven't been in touch with my resources or have heard my podcast or haven't been in my courses, my name is Sonja Smal here. I'm originally from Cape Town, South Africa, moved to the Netherlands 30 years ago, a long time ago. Married an amazing Dutch guy, have been living outside of Amsterdam in a place called Baden. That's where I'm casting from now. And I love helping artists. I'm an artist myself, went to the art academy in South Africa and later also in the Netherlands. I studied fine art and then later design, and always sort of lived on that border between fine art and design. I love everything creative. I've seen so many suffering artists, so many artists that have so much skill, talent, passion, but not being able to make revenue. And we all know we need revenue, we need income to survive, to have and live the life that we are so longing for. So I took business courses, got myself trained in marketing so that I could share these insights with artists and, of course, use all that knowledge myself. So that's just a little bit about myself. This session, we're going to be looking at the 10 things that artists should stop doing and get more success in 2021. So it's all about making those small little tweaks, small little changes, but powerful changes so that you can see more effect in your art and your art business. And I've based these 10 steps, these 10 stops, if you would say it that way, stop signs, on the 5 important pillars of a working artist's life. These are foundational pillars if you're going to turn your creativity into a profession, turn your hobby into work, serious work, that becomes a major part of your income stream. These are important pillars to consider. And first and foremost, it's that mindset. I mean, what we think, how we think, this little, I think it's 17.5 centimeters, some larger, some smaller, that space between our ears. So much is happening, and what we think up here determines what we feel down there and what we do here. So that mindset is so important, getting into the right headspace to move in the right direction. Then number 2 is making. So actually, what are you making? Your art management, very important part of a working artist's life. Getting routine and managing your time, managing your resources, managing your income, managing your life, managing your palette. There's so many things you need to manage because you're not only the artist, but you are an art entrepreneur. You're running a business as well as making your art. And then the marketing, maybe it's something that you have a love-hate relationship with, that you just want to be making your art, but marketing is so important. That's getting your message out, getting your art out. How can you connect that what you're making, that what you're passionate about? How can you communicate that clearly, consistently with the right art audience, so that you're not only making one painting, one art piece, but there is a multiplication in the things that you're doing. And that's when it becomes interesting and you can start to see more success, more revenue, more effect with your art. So those are the 5 important pillars. Let me just see who's here. Hello, Melissa from Amsterdam, and all the others joining in. Let me know where you're from. Put in your name and tell us what art form you're doing, because I know there are people from all kinds of genres, backgrounds, levels. Some are starters, some are intermediate, some are advanced, experienced artists. So let us just know in the comments as I give the teaching where you're from and what art forms you're doing. What does your artistic success look like? The title of this session is what you should stop doing so that you can see more artistic success. Artistic success looks totally different to all of you. Everyone has their own reference, their own idea what success looks like. It's very diverse. And the streamers behind me may be thinking, Sonja, you really have bad taste as far as Christmas decorations. It looks like a party behind you. The streamers here. After the session, I'm going to the graduation of the students of the Working Artist course. It's a course that I give once a year. I'm going to be giving it in 2021 again. In March, we open the doors to the Working Artist course. It's a 12-week intensive training where artists go from A to Z, how they can turn their creativity, how you can actually earn revenue stream, diversify, how you can connect with galleries, the whole razzmatazz in these 12 weeks. And today it's the final lesson and it's graduation day. So they are all getting their certificates. So we're going to do that online because they're all from all over the world. For some, it's the middle of the night. Some of them, it's early morning. And so it's certificate time. That's why the streamers are behind me. And it's always so wonderful to hear. Each has defined, also part of the course, what artistic success looks like for them. And it's not always, yes, I want to make my art, I want to get rich, and that's going to be my life. Fortunately, it's not that. For artists, it goes totally deeper and further than that. I've had students that said to me, when they've gone through the 12 weeks, that they've started out, they wanted to have gallery representation, they wanted to make a body of work and have it represented by a gallery. And then throughout the 12 weeks, they did the exercises, the worksheets that come with the course, and they found out that they really love creativity, but they want to help others on their journey. So they are far more teaching, turning their creativity into some kind of structure, either writing about it, doing online courses, or teaching in-person workshops. For some, it was all about selling. Others just love being entrepreneurs, love that art facilitates a creative entrepreneurship. So they want to diversify more products. It was for some freedom. So it wasn't really that the entrepreneurship, but the lifestyle that came with creativity, that they had an opportunity to follow up with ideas. They love collaborating with other creatives and artists. That was also an important reason. So they really became clear throughout the 12 weeks what artistic success looks like. And we need to stop to find that, because you can just be busy being an artist, and maybe you've been to art school and you have an idea of what art looks like or what an artist's life looks like, and you've maybe compared, or what your references have been. But it's good to stop. That's the first under the mindset pillar, is to take some time. Maybe you have some vacation coming up, or you have some downtime, that you can stop and really consider, ponder, think, discover, explore your artist's heart. What is it that drives you to make your art? What motivates you? Why are you an artist? Is it that you love the creative process? You love getting the products, the end piece, you love showing, you're an entertainer. Art is so much about entertaining as well. It's about giving other people wonderful experiences. It's because you want to take other people further in their process, that you're more a teacher or a coach. It can be so diverse. So take some time, and that's the first stop. Just stop. Stop is scary. We'd rather be busy with all kinds of things, all kinds of distractions, because we don't have to go inside. But art is all about the inside, because that's where it comes from. And really consider what makes you happy, because happiness is the greatest motivator. I mean, life is not one big happy party, I know that. But to find out what drives you, what really gets into your happy place, what inspires you, if you can consider that and take some time to distill that, then it becomes so much more easy when the hard times come, because those ebbs and flows will come as a creative. It won't all be plain sailing. It's a very difficult profession. It's very challenging. There's more against you than for you, and it's a lot of hard work. But if you're on your happy place, working in your superpower, working in your strengths, you'll find the motivation, because it's something, even if you have to do like accounting or administration, I mean, how boring. You will do it because it's important for your business. So having that motivation from that happy place is so important. So just to look back, check with your heart, have a moment, and to see, am I working from that place of authenticity? Are you working in your strengths? What makes you happy? Number 2, stop going forward without looking back. And especially towards the end of the year, we are now going into 2021, and it's a good moment to look back. Look back over your year. Don't just race forward into the new year thinking, okay, it's all going to be different. Now things are really going to change. It's that famous quote from Einstein: if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. Things won't change if you just keep doing the same thing. Sometimes you need to stop and to reflect. Reflection is powerful, but you do need to stop yourself from racing forward, and especially in this busy time, take some time to reflect. What was your year like? It was a year like no other year. I think we all can attest to that. But what are the greatest lessons that you're learning are in the steps that you've already taken. That's how we learn. As a child, that's how you learn to walk, you learn to talk, you learn by doing things. And hopefully you've been doing things in this year. Maybe it was a wonderful fiasco. Things turned out absolutely not what you expected them to be. But what can you learn from it? All those failures or things that didn't quite go the way we expected them to go are great learning curves if we take the time to find out why things didn't work. What could you do differently? What can you learn from it, and how can you turn that into strengths? It's a time to go on a journey of self-exploration, to really discover more of your artist's heart, to build that creative a relationship with your creative self. Also then, with point one, what is that your strengths? How can you create from the place of strength? So go on that journey of finding out who you are, and some tips just to think about as you reflect over your year and move forward, looking forward, because with every stop there's a start. So stop and just think, what would you do if you couldn't fail? Fear of failure is such a big stopper, showstopper. Just keeps us in our tracks, just keeps us from moving forward because there's so much fear. And I think if there's ever been fear, it's been this year. Fear of all kinds of things, just with the media and everything that we know. We've been actually being forced behind masks, we've been forced into spaces that we don't really need to be, the circumstances. And, of course, we want to combat this virus. So, but we've been forced nearly into very small spaces, also in our mind and our thinking. But what would you do if anything was possible? Just get into that place, use your imagination for the good, and start to dream your art dream again, or re-dream it again. Maybe you've put it on the shelf, maybe you've been in survival mode. Start to think, what could you do if anything was possible, if you just couldn't fail? And what project did you enjoy working on this year? Or maybe you weren't that productive this year, these past few years. That already gives you some clues of what you really enjoy. And then what worked this year? Maybe you made that whole turn from offline into online. Maybe you were used to working offline, having in-person events, teaching in person, showing at galleries, or being far more among, on the street level with people, but you've had to make that switch onto the online space. And for some people, that's been a huge challenge. What worked for you and what didn't work? And then what can you learn from this? So take that time to reflect on your year. Reflect on what you love to do, what you would like to do in the future, and start putting that down. It really helps to journal or in your sketchbook. Get words out of the things that you're thinking and feeling so that you can start to see it. And when you start seeing things, it becomes more clear. Maybe start making a mood board for your new year. What do you want this year to look like that's coming? Dream of it, and then you can always reverse engineer. That will be another step for setting realistic goals. The next pillar is making. So you are the artist and you make art, whatever form that is. The art is important for the artist. Without art, there's no artist. And another big stop sign is for 2021 especially is to start to get more focused, that you are going to make an assessment. What is your strength? Where can you focus on? That you stop being the jack of all trades. That means that you're not doing all kinds of things, because that is part of an artist's makeup. We see possibilities in everything. We can be inspired by an empty bottle lying on the street to beautiful, glorious sunsets. We get inspired by so much. And if people ask us, do you have an idea for the Christmas party? Yes, we have thousands of ideas, but there's so much we could do. That's just part of creativity. But not all good ideas are the best ideas. And you need to become a master over your ideas, your creativity. You need to start honing in what's important so that you can see more effect, because you can't do everything. Oh, very painful, especially when you want to keep all your options open. That's a hard one. But dare to make choices this year. Dare to make decisions. And you can't do everything all at once. There's seasons for everything. Time to get clear about your style, about your artistic style, and hone in on that what you love to do and that what you're good at, and strengthen that. And not to, I use that example many times, is when you have 7 footballs, soccer balls, and 1 goal, and you have 7 chances to kick those balls towards the goal. You can kick every ball 1 time. It'll bring every ball a little closer. Or you can choose to kick 1 ball 7 times. I think we all know what ball will get to the goal first. Is that when you start getting really specific, start narrowing down the choices, you are going to see more effect, because you can focus and you can start become master. You can start to develop your skills in a certain area. Get clear about your communication. How are you going to be communicating? On what channels? On how's your website looking? How are you going to show up in person? And then getting clear about your audience. Who are you making your beautiful art for? What is that person, or what kind of person? It doesn't have to be a specific person, but what kind of person would really appreciate and fall in love with your art? But it's not everyone. That is a big myth, that you're going to be just catering for everyone. You need to get more clear about that. And that is a process. But we're going to focus on this point on your style, making choices for your style. We all chose the creative profession because of the freedom. That's, if I coach I coach a lot of artists, and I say, well, why are you an artist? I love the freedom. The freedom, I'm not working for a boss. If they're full-time working artists, I'm my own boss. I am the big kahuna. I decide what happens and what doesn't happen. There's freedom in that. We have, if you can work anywhere, you can do whatever. And that definitely is a part of it. But when you can't go on holiday or pay your bills, or you have a life of lack, there's not much freedom in that. You still are reliant on decisions that you need to make. And you need to make your artwork. So there's still decisions all along the way. So that freedom is really relative. And also when you are choosing your artistic style, or when you are choosing to focus on something, you have to let go of all the other things that might be calling for your attention, or that you want to try all kinds of techniques. You want to keep everything, open, so that you can cater to more people or follow more of your passions. And that doesn't mean you can't try different things, but you need to make more choices. And also how you communicate, because the artists that we recognize and remember have developed a specific style. You need to build a brand. That's what my course is also about. How do you build a brand around your creativity? And a brand is nothing more, it's an old Norwegian word, that they branded cattle so that it brought identity. Every branding sign was a different piece of logo, and would brand cattle. That's branding. So you are having a clear identity. And what identity do you have? Your personality, your process, and your products. They should all reflect you, your vision. But that needs to be intentional choices. Because if you're clear about it, it's going to be clear for other people. And we fear making choices. We fear of being put into a corner. We fear of losing our freedom. But that is just not true. The freedom comes when you make choices. That's when you start getting more control and you start to manage your creativity. What are you going to focus on in 2021? What do you need to stop doing in order to get more focus? Maybe you need to just put some things on the shelf. Not maybe forever, but just put it on the shelf. You know, I speak to artists and they're writing, they're singing, they're dancing, they love all kinds of creative expression. And it could be great as inspiration for you, but it doesn't mean that you have to have that as your profession as well. You need some way to make a choice and discover the essence of your artistic style. What is it that you are? Are you that realist? Are you that expressionist? Are you an impressionist? Are you a colorist? Who are you as an artist? Try and find words. Look at your paintings, put them, or look at your art pieces, whatever art form you're doing. Maybe have thumbnails of them and just put them all next to one another from years maybe. And try and see what comes out. What's something that's a recurring theme? Something that keeps maybe a subject or color palette that keeps coming up. And then write that artist statement. There's a resource on my website that you can follow along, gives you a framework of an artist statement. But an artist statement sounds like a very big word, but it's actually how you articulate your art. What words do you use to describe that what you're doing? And if it's clear to you, then you can start communicating that clearly. Is everyone still there? Hello from South Africa. Hello. Let's see who's there. If you have any questions, just put it in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, you can also use the comment area. If you have questions, I look at the comments regularly to see if there are questions about what I'm teaching. I know I'm giving you a lot of information, but it's here just to inspire you, to give you some tips to maybe think in a different way so that you can see how you can hone in on certain areas or change certain areas or strengthen certain areas in your creative business. So feel free to use that. Sandra, hello. Okay, no questions as yet. We will have a Q&A at the end of the session. So let's get on to the next point in the making pillar. That's our number 4 stop, is never stop learning. I talk to many creatives and they're almost embarrassed if they go to a class because they think, I'm going to a class or I'm learning, I'm taking a master class. I must not be a very good artist because I'm still learning. I'm still having to get information. I'm still not perfect. I'm not that perfect artist. But hey, let me help you get over that. You will always be learning, and great artists are great learners. Always learning, always being open, having that growth mindset, opening ourselves up to learning experiences and not thinking, oh, I should be there, or I should already be a master, or should already be at this level. Open yourself up in 2021 to learn, to be a learner, whether you're starting out, whether you're an experienced artist. Because if you take that, then if you adopt that mindset, you're going to lose all that pressure that you need to be a certain kind of artist. Be open and give yourself that gift of learning. It's always, you're going to be practicing and practicing, practicing your whole artistic life. And surround yourself with people that are better than you. Just come to terms with that fact that there are people better than you. And great, you can ask them for help. Take a master class. Do some class online. Give yourself that as a gift to hone your skills and to learn from other people. And that can be in all levels, not only artistically, but maybe in your business side of things, maybe in your income side of things, the numbers, or social media. They're all things we need to learn, and we have, there's scope for us to learn and to find people to help us. So give yourself that room to keep growing and go deeper in the things that you're good at. That's really honing in and going deeper, but then broaden that what you love. So it's the same time you are going deep and the same time you're going broad, so that you are building solid structures in the things that you love to do. So write down, take an assessment before you make your plans for the new year. What is that you're missing? Maybe you love figurative work, but you find it difficult to really capture the proportion of the skull or the anatomy, which is super difficult. Maybe you need to take a class, a figurative class or a live sketching class. There's so many good classes online that you can do now that we can't go to in-person lessons. Or maybe it's color mixing, maybe it's composition, maybe it's getting your website. This, make an assessment of the things that you need. What is that you still need in that toolkit so that you can move forward? And then who can you ask for help? Help is such a powerful word. We think in our individualistic society, we need to do everything ourselves. It's impossible. We need other people's help. And be bold next year, to ask for help. Who can you ask for help? Once you know what areas you need to grow in, what you need to learn in, ask people for help. And then maybe learn a new skill, or you are maybe working in a certain genre. How can you deepen that? How can you become more skilled in that? And practice is still the mother of skill. Give yourself opportunity to learn and grow and develop your skills. And then who can you teach? Because it's so much a give and take thing. You know more than someone who is not as experienced as you. And you don't have to be a master teacher. It can also just be in how you're posting, in how you're sharing, and how you're showing up. Not being that closed, I'm just, hiding in my studio and it's me and my art, but being open to help and to share your expertise with other people. Because it really is what comes around goes around. And if you have part of your time really being open to share, people will make time for you, for them to share their expertise. All right, then we get to the next pillar, which is management. Getting gray hairs. Not a point that we always want to look at as artists. We just want to make our art, and any structure seems to be getting in our way. But it's time to get really realistic and get out of that dream state. It's good to dream, good to think, what can I do if anything was possible? But there's a time that we need to stop dreaming and get really real. What is going on? What is reality around us? And start to turn our dreams into plans, concrete plans, so that you can design a perfect year. And you think, well, perfect? There's no such thing as a perfect year. Look at your calendar, and if we had the lesson last week, I showed you my calendar. It's a year all on one piece of plastic covered paper, so that you can fill in all your dates, most important dates you can rub out, but you can have a look at your year. So we're not just working from painting to painting, from artwork to artwork, but you're getting a sense of what your year will look like. 365 days, which has 12 months, which has weeks, it has days, and how are you going to fill that time, so that you can set up structures around your creativity so that it can support your art and your art vision. Your art's not just going to happen. You need to plan time for it. You need to make time for it. So look at your year, buy a planner. You can buy it at Amazon or bookshops online. I know I got mine at online. If you're in Holland, it's at bol.com. That's our big sort of Amazon platform. You can get your planner, and then you get a rub out, Koki, field stiff, and you can just fill out all your important dates. Start off with that, all the important dates that you already know for 2021. And all the important dates that you'd love to be there. Choose a different color. Maybe you think, okay, I want to have a body of work done by the end of March. Make a cross in your planner and say, okay, that's when I want to have it done. And then you can start reverse engineering them. So what I mean by that is that you have something set in the future, and what steps do you need to take today to bring you closer to that goal, that short-term goal. But those goals need to be realistic. And that's where the stop dreaming comes in, that you need to get a realistic feeling of your time. Because very often in our mind, things take far shorter than they do in reality. And then we get totally messed up with our schedules. We think, well, it's taking so much time, or, I'm running behind, or you get really stressed. And that comes with experience. But it's good to plan. And maybe in the beginning, your planning is not always realistic. But because you're planning, you can look back reflect and see, okay, well, why didn't that work? Maybe I scheduled too few hours, or I was too ambitious. Wanted to make 25 paintings for that virtual exhibition at the end of March. Maybe I should have done 10, and it would be, you'd be far more able to do it, and with more depth and with more, you could practice more, you'd have more time for research. So get realistic about how long a task will take. That also is in your back of your mind, is part of your time management. And then it's time to start to set some smart goals. There are enough it's not always that we don't set goals, but our goals aren't always smart. And we need to get an idea of what smart goals are. And it's broken down as follows. A SMART goal is specific, so you can describe it specifically. If someone were to ask you, what are you planning to do next week? You can describe it and they would understand. So it is something specific. I want to make 25 paintings by the end of March and show it virtually on an online platform. So that's specific. It's measurable because you can see, am I keeping that goal? Is it attainable? Your experience will tell you that. If you're just starting out, that's not attainable. That's a lot of pressure and a lot of not joyful moments, thinking, oh, I need to get everything done. And the quality of your work will show that. But if you're more experienced, that will be attainable. So a SMART goal is attainable. And it's relevant. It's relevant to what's at hand. If you're a working artist, it's something that you want to have your creativity turn into a revenue stream, then you set relevant goals that are going to bring you towards that full-time working artist life, or that you can create more revenue, whatever is relevant for you. So a SMART goal, if you're wanting to become a better fine artist, is not to subscribe to a tap dancing class, and that's going to take all your time and energy and is totally going to divert you from your goal as a fine artist. So that is not relevant. And then it's time-based. So getting a real idea of your time management. You can see, okay, did I reach that goal at the end of March? Was I able to make those 25 pieces? And if not, then you go back, why? What happened? What did I get distracted? Was I not, my skill wasn't at a level enough that I could do that? So SMART goals. You can watch the replay and go through them, and every goal that you're going to be setting for 2021, see if they are SMART goals. Are they specific? Are they measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based? Goals can be everything. Can be personal, for your lifestyle, for your business, for your health. This is all part of a working artist's life. Financially, spiritually, creative, educational, and relational. So you can have goals on all those areas. It helps you create focus, gives you direction, it creates momentum. Goals give you purpose. So many reasons to have good goals. Because if you have no clear direction, no clear goals, you will not grow towards your art vision. And you think goals, they're not these like a straight jacket. They're not a set of rules, but it's a beacon that you have on your horizon. So maybe you need to stop having bad thoughts about goal setting. And we all have different characters and we all have different personalities and how we function, but try and find a way that you have that little blinking dot there on your horizon so that you are working towards something, because it also gives you a sense of fulfillment when you reach it. It gives you a reference whether if you're not reaching it, you can make conclusions and reflect, well, why am I not getting there? You can measure your process, your progress, and it helps you make your choices so you're staying on track, because a lot will come your way as working artists, a lot of opportunities, collaborations, distractions, and then you can say, is this bringing me toward that blinking light on my horizon, or is it taking me away from it? And it can only you can only have that if you have those goals. The next pillar is marketing. And stop thinking your art will just sell itself. I think that's a big thing, especially in 2020 and 2021. You need to get intentional about how you're going to market your art. And there are amazing opportunities. It's never been more exciting for artists because you don't only have the gatekeeper, the gallerist. You can actually take so many steps on free platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest to promote your art. Just you need to have a plan behind it. Because it's simply not true that people are going to hear from you once and you have a message, say you have an opening, you have a virtual exhibition, or you have a new program coming out, or you're doing a new body of work, you want to share that on your social channels, that you do it once. People need to hear 8 to 12 times. They need to hear your message in a different variety, so in different forms. That's a lot. You think, oh, well, I've already posted about the exhibition. Everyone should know now. Well, first, the algorithms don't work like that because only a small slither of the people see it. You need to post content in various forms, the same message in different forms and on different platforms, so that people do start engaging with your content, with your message, with that what you're trying to market with your art. Start with your desired result. That's always a good idea. It's the same idea of that reverse engineering. What is it that you want? How many people do you want to engage with a post? How many people do you want to have listened to that message? And then decide where you're going to be posting it so that that amount of people will engage with your message. And then, of course, get clear about what you want to say. What is it that you're communicating? So also in how you're writing a post, how you're setting up your photos, your website, all the different channels of communication, that you get really clear what is it that you want. You want to just get people to understand more about you as an artist? Is it more that you want to sort of get people understanding that you are a working artist, or is it something that you want to sell? Do you want to promote something? What is the goal of your message? And then you start to make a plan. And then where is your dream follower hanging out? What platforms are they using? And then package your message in a way that is attractive. And I think that's where you really can make such a you can make such a big leap compared to other artists if you just pay attention to the little things. How's your photography? What words are you using? How often are you posting? It's those little details that make a huge difference. So also look back over the things that you've been posting. Go and look at your websites. Go and look at how's your art being represented, because that all communicates. Everything that you're doing and not doing is marketing. So even if you're not communicating, that says something about you. And marketing is nothing more than communicating, connecting with people. And that can be a good representation of what you do, or not quite the message that you want to communicate. You need to get clear about what is it that you're communicating and how you're going to be doing that, and doing that intentionally. This is a student that is just finishing the Working Artist course this week. Her name is Mish, and she had a virtual exhibition now this last month, and I just want to show you her website. Beautifully designed and a very nice attention to details. Visit her website. There's the URL for you to have a look and subscribe to her newsletter. And she's a great communicator in the things that she's doing. She does have a graphic background. She designs websites, so she has such an advantage. But it's good to learn from people like that. Also there, follow people that have beautiful websites, that have effective communication, and try and see why and how can you do it. Maybe you don't have a budget to hire a graphic designer, but you can learn from it. Try and get that analytical eye developed. And this was a series of emails that she sent to promote her event. There was the invite emails. It wasn't just one invite to her mailing list. I'm having an exhibition. Now she sent a series of invites. So remember, people need to hear from you numerous times for them to even remember that you've got something going on. So there was the invite, then there was the reminder, and then there was the countdown in a newsletter with nice photos, with a YouTube movie that she introduced the exhibition herself. So have a look at her website, be inspired, and find ways how you can start communicating more effectively. Number 8, is that you stop posting just for the sake of posting. Just because you've been told to post is not an effective strategy. That you get really clear about why you have your website and why are you posting, so that you can do it with more intent. And then use those offline spaces to strengthen your online. And yes, we are going to go offline again. I totally believe that in 2021 we will be going to exhibitions again. We'll be active online, offline. We will meet people in person again. We will be hugging and collaborating in person. And I think people have become so aware of the online space, that there'll be far more correlation and sort of interaction between offline and online, and then finding a strategy to when you have an offline event, bringing that into your online space and vice versa. And then using your social channels to bring your visitors from your social channels onto your website, and then make your website a hub where people can meet and find out more about you, see more of your art, and possibly sell your art. So you have sales channels on your website. Have a good look at your website. If you haven't got a website, maybe you have social channels. Have friends look at it and see, does it communicate what you want it to communicate? Is your social profile clear, lovely profile photo? Is it meet the objective why you are posting, why you are online? Does it communicate what you want to say? And how can you elevate your art? So maybe book that professional photo shoot. And it's an investment, but probably the best investment you'll make in 2021. Have good photos made of yourself. Have good photos made of your work situation. Maybe you don't have a full-fledged studio, but little details. And I know you can do a lot with your mobile, but it's really an advantage if you have good photos. And then you can sort of scatter your own photos in between. But you have good professional photos. So something you can save up for. Maybe after 6 months, you have the budget for it. Go and look around online for photographers that you like their style, that really, because every photographer, just like an artist, has different styles, different strengths, so that you can find the right photographer for your art. So that is something that you can work towards, put on your calendar and save up for. That will really elevate your art, because it's visual. A photo speaks 1,000 words, and your website, everything that you do is visual. You are an artist. I have a resource. It's called the Artist Website Checklist. If you're thinking, I want to, really up my website, I have a checklist that you can go through all the different ingredients of your website, that maybe you can look at your photos or your SEO, or how you write about on your home page, your About Me page. But have a look at that resource is there for you. Number 9, we're nearly there, guys. Multiplication. So stop beating about the bush. It's time not only to market your art, but being a clever entrepreneur, clever artist, art entrepreneur, that you can start growing. And that has to do with your finances. This is the biggest reason why many artists don't have success, is because they don't have the money. They can't follow their dreams because they don't have the finances. So stop beating about the bush. Also about your income, getting really clear and transparent about your income, and get real. And sometimes that's really confronting and painful, but I'm telling you, it's going to give you so much freedom in the future. And try and see, how much. Also, again, stop dreaming. Smart revenue goals. Those, make it specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based as far as your revenue is concerned. How much do you have on the bank? How much do you need to earn for the new year? How much art does that mean? Because if you need 10,000 euros, dollars, rands, or whatever currency, how are you going to make that? You need 10 customers that pay 1,000, or you need 100 customers that pay 100 for something, or you need 1,000 customers that pay 10 euros or dollars for something. How much art can you make? At what price level? Times the amount of people to get to that X amount. So also setting those smart revenue goals. And you can, make reproductions. You can make smaller products so that it's not so time consuming. so that you start also thinking like an entrepreneur so that you can meet your revenue goals. Get a clear idea of your monthly expenses. What does your monthly income look like? How can you bring that more into balance? What you need and what you are actually getting. You need to maybe let go of your studio and work in a smaller space for the time being till you get healthy financially so that you can start growing. You need to be lean and mean in your expenses. Make that budget. Get clear. Get honest with yourself. What do you need? How much does your art going to generate for you? And then start making plans accordingly so you can get into a healthy place. Because creating out of a place of lack is very difficult, especially when you're lying awake. How am I going to pay for it? That's not a good place to be. The last multiplication and the last stopping step is that you step out of that stop mode and step into the start mode. Maybe you've had some moments this 2021 that you've really been stopped on your truck, you've been frozen, that fear, or that you don't know how things are what's going to happen in the world. I can tell you art is still relevant. It's so important. I've had artists that I've been coaching that have had their best year ever. They've become intentional about how they're thinking about their art, how they're making their art, how they're managing their time, how they're using their money, and how they're marketing their art. So it's about getting that intent, getting really clear and focused about what you want so that you can think in growth. Don't allow all these noises around you to bring you into small spaces, but start to think growth. Multiply that what you're doing so you can multiply your energy, multiply your resources, multiply your income, multiply your time. I think time is also such an enemy in our day and age. So much is calling for our attention. So that no matter where you are on your journey, whether you're a starter, you're the emerging artist, experienced artist, a student, that you find ways that you can multiply what you have. That what you have now, what can you multiply? Your time, your energy, your inspiration. Can you set up structures? What can you automate? Maybe something with your email that you can automate, or your social media posting. Can you automate? There's some amazing programs out there. Hootsuite, for example, you can automate. You can plan your posting for the whole week. So you're not busy with I need to post. No, you're very intentional. You plan in your posting. You set clear expectancies about replying to emails. I know an artist, she replies once a week to her emails. She doesn't feel pressured to have to do it during the whole week. She has a very quirky sentence at the bottom of her emails. I'm a working artist. I'm in my studio making my art. I'll get back to you on the Friday. If it's urgent, then please let me know. But she has expectancies in her email. So you're not thinking, I need to answer my emails every single day. So you set some time limits, boundaries. And then get rid of clutter. There's nothing worse than clutter to distract you from all kinds of things. It really distracts. So maybe you need to clean your studio, clean up your inbox, get rid of clutter so that you can have some clarity, some freedom also in your heart and your mind for what's to come. And simplify. With all the things coming at you, it can be totally overwhelming. Start your day with a clear plan. What are you going to do? Make smart goals. Remember, attainable, specific. And then batch your day. Batching is like, okay, every Friday, answer your emails. Or every Monday, I'm planning my social posting. Or I'm going to collect all my materials. Do I have all my materials for the whole week? So I can do one shopping time. Not that I think, oh, I still need the resin and I still need this and I still need that. If you can plan ahead of time, just try and batch things. That makes you multiply your time and your energy so that you have more time for your art. So those were the 10 stops. These are all hopefully stepping stones, and just to give you some ideas of what you can do to get more out of your year. So have a look at my website. This is something that I teach regularly, also in my course. It starts the 1st of March. If you want to join the waitlist, you are free. Then I can keep you updated about the course that's starting in March. It really is a wonderful experience. I'm about to head over to the students that are graduating today and celebrate their process, their transformation, and their just the decision that they took to grow as working artists. Look at my website. There are resources for you. I have a weekly podcast. There's communities there for you. Ask your questions and engage. And there would be a Q&A now, but I see the time is really flying. If there is anything specific, hey Dana from Sweden, hello. Nice that you could join. If there are any questions about this session, please put it in the comments, because I will be looking at it, and then I can either address it separately, or I can private message you or throw it in the group. It's there for you. Just let's have the conversation about this. Hope everything was clear and that you are inspired.